welcome to Grumpy Old Men. I am Eric.
And I am Tim.
And we have a great episode for you today. Tim, what do you have to talk about today?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the Super Bowl, since just happened. That just happened Sunday night. And we both missed out on our predictions because I think we both took Philadelphia, even though I didn't have
my score was close. I guess 37-34. It ended up 38-35, but on the wrong end of that of the wrong team.
Well, I do want to call that's a little horse shit, in my opinion. They ruined that. That was a great football game up until the final 2 minutes. You can't throw that flag. You may have different thoughts, but that was over his head. Let him kick the field goal, and let's see if the Eagles can tie it or win it or don't do anything. But the refs just took the game away, in my opinion.
So here's the thing. So the hold happened before the ball was thrown, so nobody can know if he actually would have made it there, right? But in my opinion, if Jalen Hurts doesn't fumble the ball, if the reception was actually a reception, I mean, there's, even the coach said during the game or at the post game, he said, "Look, one play doesn't ruin a football game."
Oh no, it don't.
But it did kind of take the wind out of the end of the game. It did. Yes. That I agree with for sure.
Because you're looking for this exciting. Hey, they're either going to score, kick a field goal, do whatever the case may be, and then the Philadelphia is going to have a minute and 20, whatever it would have wound up being. And hey, they either win it or they don't.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I think the refs did take the chance for Philly to win out of the equation.
Yeah. Hey, my hat's off to him, though. Mahomes and Kansas City, they good. I like Andy Reid. He's a good guy, good coach. So it seems to be anyway. It didn't matter to me which team won. I was just hoping for a good game.
I think it was a great game. Back and forth and comebacks, and Mahomes shredding his ankle before halftime, and everybody's like, "Well, this is going to be a blowout in the second half," and then he comes out like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, and my wife don't get into. She'll watch college football with me, but we were sitting around watching it, and we actually got into bed to watch the fourth quarter. She actually got mad. Of course, she likes Alex. She's a little. We pulled for Alabama, so she was with Jalen and Devontae and Dickerson. A few of the Alabama boys playing on Philly. She was wanting Philly to win, but she got mad when they called that play. How can you call that play? So. Mm-hmm. Anyway,
yeah. Well, Jalen transferred because he got pulled in the championship game, right?
Well, it was everybody says that he did. He was the starting quarterback as a freshman. He started when they played Southern Cal his freshman year, and then when Tua came along, Jalen was the starter up until that championship game. But I mean, I don't blame Saban for doing it. Jalen, I mean, it just wasn't clicking. Sometimes you just need a spark.
You're right.
And Tua came in and provided the spark. And then what was funny is the following year in the SEC title game, Tua got pulled for Jalen, and Jalen provided the spark for Alabama to beat Georgia in the SEC title game that year. So it was tit for tat, but Jalen wasn't going to start his last year, so he transferred to Oklahoma.
Yeah, I like him. I mean, Patrick Mahomes obviously is they're saying that if he quit football today, he'd probably be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, he probably would be.
Yeah. Not
a doubt in my mind. The kid, and what I like him is he's backyard football. He's like, oh, I ain't got to do this. So if he needs to throw the ball behind his back, he's throwing it behind his back. So, which makes it interesting sometimes.
Yeah, he said that in an interview. He said, look, I'm playing a kid's game. You know what? We're lucky enough to be out here and make millions of dollars doing this, but at the end of the day, we're playing a kid's game, and I want to play it like a kid.
Yeah,
I mean, but yeah, hey. He pulls some shit. Now let's talk about those two touchdowns they scored where there were no Eagles around at all. Completely fooled the entire Eagles defense, and the guys were just sitting wide open, almost in the end zone, just on opposite sides of the field.
Yeah, but if you watch those plays, and I'm not saying the first time I've actually seen a receiver do that, where they're coming in motion and all of a sudden plant and turn around and go back the other way. When Alabama played Ohio State for the national title a few years ago, Sark was the offensive coordinator, and he did that a couple of times with Devontae, and Devontae was wide, just like you saw in the Super Bowl. It wasn't a soul around him. So I don't know if they took that, I'm not saying Sark invented it. So, how people get, I'm just saying that's the first time I actually saw it and can remember it. So I just that they took a page from that playbook, and you saw how wide open they is, because if you're in man to man, you saw the defensive back running across with him, and his thought is, I've got to get to the other side before he gets there. And, he plants, goes the other way. There wasn't nothing they could do. Great play call. Great play call.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then, Eagles come down on the first drive of the game, score, and you're just thinking to yourself, like, oh, crap, here we go. But, yeah, down by 10 at the half. I thought maybe with Mahomes out that we're going to get a really crappy second half. But, yeah, man, well, first of all, I need for my back whatever they gave Mahomes at halftime.
we all know what they gave Mahomes. A big old needle about this big and...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he said I was watching his interview with Jimmy Kimmel. He's like, yeah, they did some mobility exercises and some other things. And,
my wife was going, Larry, in the fourth quarter when we were watching it, she was sitting there. She was going, oh, he got tackled. How's his ankle going to be? I looked at her. I said, his ankle's going to be just fine because he's got the whole off season to get better. I said, he's going to have to break that thing in order for him not to play.
That's what he said. He said, this is the biggest stage and the biggest game of, one of the biggest games of my career. This whole team's counting on me. He said, there's nothing that was going to keep me out of that game. He said, I've been out there on a crutch if I had to.
Yep. So I give him credit. Hey, go Chiefs.
Yep. They fought it out. And of course, here in Missouri, everybody's going nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as a Commanders fan, still don't understand that. But as a Commanders fan, I did not want the Eagles to win, but I thought they would. But no, it was a great game. It was a good game. It was entertaining. The whole thing from beginning to end, from the national anthems and the God Bless Americas and everything else all the way to the end, man. I enjoyed every bit of it.
Yeah, me too. It was actually pretty good. I did get the commercials though. They're not as good as when we were kids, in my opinion. They've gotten, with the new woke and everything they got to do, my personal opinion, the commercials from 10 years ago, just like the E-Trade babies. They brought the E-Trade babies back, but I still wish they do them 2 or 3 times, I love those little jokers.
Yeah, I mean, like 10, 15 years ago, they were pulling some racy-ass Super Bowl commercials out.
Yep.
I mean, where you're just like, whoa, like the adult references and everything else. And then now everybody's just so butthurt all the time that they have to be careful with their commercials, which is ridiculous.
They're killing everything. I mean, anyway. We can't say too much. We might get kicked off the air. We say certain things on YouTube. Yeah, but we say certain things on YouTube. YouTube will ban your channel.
Hey, there's an amendment. I know it that says I can say whatever the hell I want. I know for sure there is.
Yeah, there should be. I mean, speaking of, go back a minute. We changed the name to the Commanders from the Washington Redskins just because it offended somebody?
Yes. Same way the Cleveland Indians are now the Guardians. But yet, and I read this somewhere and I can't remember what it was, the Braves get to keep their name. I can't remember what it was, but the Braves get to keep their name at the end of the day. I can't remember why. But yeah, no, the commercials were okay. And I actually have USA Today's ranking of, well, it ranks every commercial, but we'll stick in the top 10.
Okay, so let's hear this.
Do you remember any of the commercials? Let's see if it landed in the top 10. Something that you really enjoyed.
Well, I like the E-Trade babies. I remember them.
They are not in the top 10.
What about the Doritos, the triangle with Elton John?
No.
Wow.
Nope, I thought you were going to go somewhere else that is in the top 10, but let's see. So they have Doritos, the triangle at 14.
Wow.
Let's see if I can even find the E-Trade babies. The trailer for Raiders of the Lost Ark is on here. The Pepsi Zero commercials were okay. E-Trade is 21.
But see, that tells you the difference in the generations. I mean, the commercials to me weren't that good. So
no, they weren't. So let's go through this top 10. Number 1, well, let's start at 10. So number 10 is the Workday commercial, which I thought was okay. Like we're calling people a rock star at work. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
It was okay. The last line of the commercial was the best when he calls somebody a rock star. He's like, I wasn't going to say it. Number 9 Disney's 100th anniversary special look commercial.
Yeah, well, I ain't ever going back to Disney, so they can. It was good. That was a decent commercial. I will give them credit on that. That didn't look like it had an agenda. It just went through everything that they were doing. So I'll give them credit on that one. So I do remember that commercial, but Disney's not getting any more of my money.
I have 3 daughters. They're gonna still get my money. So number 8 is the He Gets Us commercial.
Yeah, Jesus commercials.
Yeah, this is the one where like the kid was standing on his buddy to piss in the urinal.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad. Number 7, the T-Mobile commercial with John Travolta, which I enjoyed.
Oh, that was actually good. We actually talked about that. Was actually good.
Yep, that was number 7 on their list. Number 6 is, I love this commercial, the Bud Light hold music commercial.
Yes.
Where they were dancing around to the hold music and they'd pause when it come back on and everything else. Number 5, Breaking Bad popcorners. I liked that commercial. I think they could have done a little bit more with it, but I love Breaking Bad. Number 4, Ben Affleck, Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru, which I thought was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Number 3, Amazon Saving Sawyer. I don't remember that. I'm going to push play here and see what the heck that is. It's a dog. Emily Lee. Oh, it's the one where the dog's tearing shit up around the house.
Oh, and they got him a friend.
Yep. Number 2, NFL Run With It. I enjoyed that commercial. It wasn't funny, but I enjoyed it. Number 1, the Farmer's Dog. What is that? Is that Bud Light?
I don't even know if I remember that.
Oh, the one with the girl with her puppy and it grows up and gets old.
Oh yeah.
Remember, it was a sweet commercial, but it wasn't funny.
But I missed the Budweiser Clydesdales, and the Dalmatians.
Yeah. Do you remember the one from the 9/11 commercial that Clydesdales made?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was so good.
I really remember one the 2 Dalmatian puppies where somebody picks, they pick one and leave the other one behind, and he's in the fire truck, and then later on you see him on the Clydesdale horse, and he realizes it's him, and he sticks his tongue out at him.
Yep.
So those are classic commercials.
Yeah, man, those were good. Those were really good. I mean, I'm looking through this list, and the Dodge Ram one was pretty funny. The premature electrification commercial.
Oh yeah.
I actually made a list when I was watching the Super Bowl. Let's see, which ones did I have on my list that I liked? The Dunkin' Donuts one, the E-Trade. Oh, the Will Ferrell one, the electric vehicle, the GMC electric vehicle one.
Yeah, but again, that's them trying to push. They're trying to push that on us, and I know everything's. They're trying to go. I mean, the electrical grid can't even handle trying to get an electric vehicle. So we're gonna be in trouble.
Oh, you know what commercial really blew my mind? The one with what's his name from Foo Fighters, and he's talking about the things from Canada.
Oh yes, what they invented. Yes.
Did you know football originated in Canada?
No, I did not. I didn't either.
No, absolutely not. That's nuts. I mean, half of that list I couldn't believe.
No, me either.
Well, we can't think of everything. Well, half of the shit we got is copies from different countries anyway. I mean, we didn't. The only thing we invented was, I think, violence.
No, that was around. Vikings were around. You had all,
I'm a Viking. I know all about it.
Exactly. Me too.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, again, just to wrap up, I mean, that was a great game. The commercials were lackluster, and I don't think they're going to get any better anytime soon because we have all these millennials who can't figure out what they want to be called or which bathroom they want to go in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, speaking of woke, I don't know if you saw this. So a Tennessee Democrat, of course, he's a black male again. And he was going into the chamber, and one of the GOP senators got onto him about his dress. Now he's an African male. He wore his African get up. He had they call it the little shirts. I forget what the name. Yeah,
the traditional garb or whatever.
Garb, yeah, right. So he's in there on the floor. Well, there was a GOP senator that said, "Hey, you're not following the dress code. You need to, Well, the first thing he does is he goes on Twitter and blasts him. Oh, we got this old white supremacist and racist trying to tell me how to dress and blah, 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 blah. Was trying to get into wage a war on, Twitter, talking about that this dude was being a white supremacist now. Well, come to find out, the dress code was invented by a black woman for the Tennessee legislature. And she required all men to wear coats and ties. And they're just trying to follow what she, came up with.
Mm-hmm.
But see, he didn't know that. They want to make it all about race right now.
Everything is. It all is. Everything. I mean, before, again, and we've talked about this before social media, there was still racism, but it was not as bad as it is today because people have a platform to bitch about every little thing. And when that Michael Brown stuff happened here in St. Louis, I mean, half of the looting and everything else are people just jumping on the bandwagon, giving them a chance to break into places. I mean,
no, that's all it is. It's for them to do what they need to do to come take what you got. So
yeah, you want to protest and stand in front of the courthouse? Do it. I'm all for it. If it's something you believe in, stand up and fight for it. But it doesn't mean you have to be violent.
Oh, exactly. And I may be crazy, but I actually think most people are good. I mean, there's good white people. There's bad white people. There's good black people. There's bad black people. There's good, don't matter whether you're white, black, red, yellow. There's good and bad in everything. So
of course.
Don't jump on the bandwagon to be, he's a racist or she's a racist or he's this and this. I don't know. And our poor kids.
That's just unfortunately, the first word out of people's mouths today. That's the problem. Is that, it's nothing else. It has to be racism. And that's just absolutely insane. As far as his clothing goes, if he wasn't following the rules, obviously he has to follow the rules, but God bless it. I mean, I could have a 5-hour podcast about this. I mean, it's absolutely insane. It's stupid. I mean, we live in a society where, our kids are not learning what they need to learn in school to be successful adults. They're learning all this state mandated education. I've never needed to know how tall Napoleon is. I have never needed Y equals MX plus B, but I did need to know how to monitor my credit and get a mortgage and change a tire and my oil, which none of that. I saw something online the other day. They should start a class called Life in high school, where you learn how to change a tire, do your taxes, check your oil and stuff like that.
But see, we had all that stuff. Remember, we had driver's ed, we had home economics, we had all that stuff. Now it's what the state and the government pushes out. And some of these teachers, just fall in line and do it. And you got some teachers you do have teachers that are standing up saying, I can't do this. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just going through the motions. And now, I mean, being, again, the retakes and the coddling we're doing to these kids in school to make sure they pass, because we don't want to piss them off because the next day they're going to show up with an AR-15 and blow up the, whatever. But good Lord, all this stuff used to happen. It's not new, but now that it's so amplified by social media, we don't have anything better to talk about on the national news either. So they just make it even worse.
Oh, well, I think we do have things to talk about. It's just our national media. Most of our national media is in bed with all these people, and they've got an agenda too. They only show you what they want you to know. Mm-hmm. They only show you what's going to promote their agenda.
Yep. Give them the lead in to the next news cycle. That's it. That's all it is.
Exactly. And then, what you think about karma? See, you haven't seen this. You haven't seen what I'm fixing to say probably on the national news anywhere. So there was a baker in California. Her name was Jennifer Angel. And again, stuff happened. So I'm not making light of what happened to her, but she was a anti-police, defund the police. We don't need the police department. When all this went, of course, she's on left coast California, the crazies out there. I think it was San Francisco. I may not be, or maybe it was Oakland. But she was all about defunding the police. I think it was Friday. She may have been Monday. Anyway, last week, she gets out of her car. She walks into I think it was a Wells Fargo bank. She comes out of the Wells Fargo bank. She gets mugged. She gets jumped, gets mugged. They take her stuff. And of course, they grab it and jump in her car. She chases after them. She runs and it's hanging out the window. They drug her down the road. She died. But yeah, she she bounced off the pavement a few times, and I'm not talking about sorry that happened to her, but now her family's going, hey, just let the kids go, because if you prosecute them, it's going to be against what they, what she stood for in life.
Right. Yeah. So now they got their foot in their mouth, and their daughter gets no justice.
Right. So she's dead, and you're just going to let them walk out. And again, we live in a crazy, crazy society.
Mm-hmm. Hey, whatever happened to skinheads? Where did they go?
Good question.
Where did they go? Are they still around? Do they still exist?
Yeah, they still exist. I'm sure they do. But they're not promoting the agenda right now. They're not promoting what they need to promote, which, you in theory, you think they would be. But, there's not a whole lot of. No, the big thing now is the Catholic Church. Did you see? I think it was Virginia. The FBI field office in Virginia came out and said that if Catholic churches are doing their services in Latin, if they're doing Latin services, that they're on a watch list now for domestic terrorism.
I'm sorry.
Catholicism.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that again, please?
Yes.
Just make sure I heard it right.
You heard it right. I think it was. I will go back and validate, because this just popped up, because sometimes we don't know where we go. I will validate by the next episode, but I'm 90% sure that it was in Virginia. I'm
Googling this right now as we speak. Hold on.
Do FBI field office and
FBI.
Catholic Church. Just put Catholic. Just Google Catholic Church and domestic terrorism. Of course, if you're looking on Google, they may not.
No, it's here.
Oh, does it? Okay. Where's it at?
I just clicked the first link. I'm on Catholic News Agency, which I didn't know existed. Bishop Barry Nestout of the Diocese of Richmond on February 13th called on members of Congress from Virginia to publicly condemn a leaked FBI memorandum that sought to link Catholics to violent extremists. According to the leak, radical tradition Catholics who are interested in the traditional Latin Mass are likely to have ties to the far-right white nationalist movement. Wait, isn't that skinheads? Far-right white?
There's your skinheads. Maybe your skinheads are back.
Damn it, they're back! Well, no, that's... Oh, come on. Just because really? you want a traditional Latin Mass. So now, if we go to... Now, they're going to you have to go to church on Saturdays now, because Sunday is just not the right day to do it.
Well, if you're Seventh-day Adventist or whatever, they do it on Saturday. So, but yeah, we're again, right is wrong and wrong is right. It's not. This is absolutely nuts, and we're only killing ourselves. We're killing ourselves.
And the skinheads probably are still there, but they're in the background going, guys, look, there is nothing that we're going to do that's going to get any attention right now.
Yeah, so, right?
let's sit back and wait for all this to die down.
They're not going to the Catholic Church, going to Mass, so they're like, well, there ain't nothing we can do. The people at the church got more, they're on front and center now, so.
Yeah, absolutely crazy, man. Well, speaking of skin, do you remember that movie with Edward Norton, American History X? Did you ever see that?
Yeah, is that the one where he puts the dude's mouth on the sidewalk?
Curb
stomps him? Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good movie. Yeah, so, okay, so, gosh, do you have anything lighter on your desk over there? That was, good Lord, man.
So for those of you that don't know, I'm the heavy dude and Eric's the kind of light one. So when he wants to change it up and have a little light humor, I just let him talk for a little while.
Yeah, I can talk about motivation and everything else all day long, man, but I'm not, hey, look, good news. We found the skinheads, right? We found the skinheads. They're still out there. So what else you got on your desk? Anything over there?
No, I don't want to get too heavy right now. What do you got?
Do it. We got like 6 minutes. You have something we can squeeze. Well, 5 maybe. A minute to get ready for next week, but you got like 5 minutes. What do you got? Something a little lighter, but it could still be pretty heavy. Let's go. We can always continue the conversation next week too.
Oh, well, we can always continue. Well, I saw where they did have a active shooter at Michigan State. They had 3 Michigan State students that were killed, and then the shooter shot himself. Would that happen Monday night, or what's the day? Tuesday, Monday, or Sunday night?
And the reason my stuff, for the record, is lighthearted and funny is because I don't watch the news.
No, right, exactly.
You got to bring it to me.
And I actually watch the news, but you you got to know where to go get the real news. And what I mean by that is the ones that don't have an agenda, that'll just give, here it is, do your own research, take it for what it's worth, and, make your own, basically report, you decide. Mm-hmm. I miss Walter Cronkite coming in on CBS, to just give you the facts.
Yeah, exactly. And I, when my daughter asks me, if something is real or if it's true, I always tell her to do her own research, right?
Yes.
And then I tell her, I say, look, if somebody ran up to you and said the sky is falling, would you just run, or would you look up to see if it was actually falling? Right? Don't take the advice of others if you have any inclination that it might be incorrect without doing your due diligence. Plain and simple. And if more people did that, we'd probably have a lot less bullshit going on in the news. Oh,
that's the problem. We all get sucked into, I only watch this, or I watch CNN, the Clinton News Network, or I watch ABC or Fox. I even throw Fox under the bus because sometimes, they don't get it 100% right, and they've got an agenda over there too. So do your own research. Don't believe anything I tell you on here. Do your own research.
Yeah, ask the questions. Get all of the facts, right? Get all of the facts. And I will give you an example of getting all the facts. So, Tim, if I told you that I would give you $1 million if you jumped out of an airplane with a parachute, would you take it?
It depends. I need more facts. Do I get to have the parachute on my back, and do I get to make sure it's operational and functional and I can use it?
You don't get a parachute. No parachute. Would you jump out of a plane with no parachute for $1 million?
Yeah, if it was on the ground.
There you go. That's it. I always ask that question to people, and they're like, hell no, I wouldn't do that. Like, all right, you just missed out on $1 million because that plane's not even in the air.
Right. I mean, if it's on the ground, I'll jump out like a sun gun.
I'll tuck and roll. I'll land on my head.
I mean, what they used to teach us in the military, tuck and roll, roll over on your shoulder and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. But if it's in the air, if I get a couple thousand feet, a couple hundred feet up in there, no, that's a hard hell no.
Have you ever needed stop, drop, and roll?
No.
Ever been on fire?
Nope. Never been on fire. I don't think.
I've been asleep in a house that burned to the ground. I didn't catch fire. I got out in time, but I've never needed stop, drop, and roll ever in my whole life.
Oh. Now, if it gets that far, I think I'm just doomed at that point. If I'm on fire and got to be, God forbid, but it's at that point.
I'm looking for water. That's it. Yeah. That's all. I'm not stopping and dropping. I'm looking for water. Put me out. Somebody.
And unfortunately, most people are running around, and all you're doing is feeding the oxygen's feeding the fire when you're running. So you're making it worse.
Yeah, when you have a campfire that's not lighting, what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so speaking of which, so we camp a lot, and I used to always little tidbit before we go. We got a couple minutes. We camp. I got a camper, so we go camping about once a month somewhere within the hour and a half radius. And, you always struggle with the campfire. You get the fire starter logs and everything. So for any of y'all campers out there that are actually listening, I've learned the best way to make a campfire, to start a campfire. You can get
gasoline.
Well, gasoline always works. But if you smart ass. But if you can either stand them up, stand the logs up. But what we do is we actually put them together like Jenga pieces, put them in squares.
Lincoln logs.
Yeah, kind of like Lincoln logs.
Yeah.
And in the middle of that, dump you some charcoal in the middle hole. And then just like you're cooking on the backyard grill, throw some lighter fluid on that charcoal, light it, you're good. The charcoal's going to heat the wood, and you're good. You're set.
I don't go camping. I can't remember. I used to, like when I was a kid, because in Pennsylvania we just had all the state land behind us. We used to camp all the time, but I don't now. I can't imagine camping. I'm sleeping on the ground. Do you camp like tents?
No, we got it. Hell no. Let's rephrase that. We glamp. We go glamping.
There we go. Okay,
that's better. I got about a 25-foot coachman that I pull behind.
Okay, yeah, because my back can't take this expensive mattress I have, let alone the ground.
And this weekend, we're actually going up. We're going out of town. We're going to an RV show because I think we're going to make one more upgrade sometime in the next year or so. So probably going to upgrade to a fifth wheel and then be done.
You hear all that out there? Like, subscribe, share these videos because Tim needs a new RV. So
yeah, I definitely need a new RV. So y'all definitely hit that like button, subscribe button. Heck, I can start. Hey, I got a PayPal too. I can start some Cash App and GoFundMe.
Flash your Venmo up on the screen to start
you know.
seeing that money come in. I am this weekend. My daughter has a 3-day volleyball tournament. And I'm sorry, Mia, if you ever see this video, but they're going to get their asses handed to them this weekend. They got put in the highest bracket. They're ranked 48th out of 48, and then the first day they have to play 1, 8, and 9.
Yeah, they're in trouble. Hey, we've all seen Rudy. There's always a chance.
Yeah. I'm just going to keep my hopes low and be surprised. That's what I'm going to do. But anyway,
but if seriously though, I can't always be bought. There's not many things I won't do for money.
I'll do anything for money. You make a list of 100 things. I probably do every single one of them for the right amount of money. It doesn't matter.
Which might be good or bad.
Motivated. It does not matter. But all right. Well, that's about all the time we have this week. We will be back next week live, and we don't have a Super Bowl to talk about, but this week is the most important time of the year.
That is for you. Yes. New York Yankees are the baseball's back, and they're reporting, right? As pitchers and
catchers will be there slinging baseballs. I can't wait. I'm so freaking excited. We're less than 45 days away from opening day, and that's all I'm going to talk about.
Well, I understand. Well, this is not my favorite time of the year. So, but I do get to play golf. It is kind of my favorite time because golf weather's about to come back. So, which it don't really go out down here where I'm from, but still. Golf season's about to be in full swing, and I'm waiting on football. So, I get it. But for all those watching, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram.
Yep, send us the tweets. Send us everything. We want to know what you're thinking, what ideas you have. What do you like us to talk about? What do you want us to shut up about? Because I think pretty sure for 3 episodes we've covered racism at some point. But it is a very important topic. But if that's just not something you want to hear, then tell us all about it, and we will cut it out. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We're here to talk about absolutely anything. So any ideas, anything you want us to bring up, feel free. We're right here. Until next week, sir, have a wonderful rest of your week, and we will catch up on
you too
Tuesday. See you.
All right.